Page 26, The Ventriloquist and His Dummy. This is a study in crossing the hands over. I have problems with crossing the hands over. I get all confused. My brain just has problems thinking this way. I've had to work on this very carefully. Not this piece, but on just the idea of once I cross this, the brain kind of loses track of what's going on. Let's just do this real gently now. One hand at a time. The right hand gets the melody. The left hand is just a bunch of chords. So with the right hand, you're starting up here. Now this is in the key of G major. It's got one sharp, the F sharp. So if you run across any Fs, they're sharp. And you do. You're starting out simple enough in G position. And there's eighth notes, so you got to go 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Now you don't have any time. You got to go immediately from here to this position to this position to get that. Now this is one of the times when you have to move and play immediately, because we prefer to move and get our hand in position first. No, not here. You're not here. You're here. You may have to practice that, going from third finger to second finger. Because those notes are down there because they put a bass clef in there. Those are all bass clef notes. And then you're back to treble for the second line. Second line works the same as the first, pretty much. Slightly different notes, but you get the idea. Third line, you're starting here. And then in the third measure, you got to come down here. It's like a statement answer, or they're saying the ventriloquist says one thing and the dummy says another. I think it's more accurate to simply say it's a statement reply. You have a statement and a reply. And that's really how it works. Generally speaking, by the way, when you have a statement and reply type thing in a piece of music, the reply is usually softer. And I see in this one, in the dynamics, they've done that. At the beginning it's forte loud, and then when the reply comes, it's medium loud, just a little under. And then so the reply in here is a little softer than the statement, and that's good. It should be. Now, left hand stays where it's at, so you don't have to worry about the left hand, other than it tends to get in the way for the right hand, because you can't go straight down to it. You got to cross over to get there, because the left hand's in the way. So don't get your left hand too high. You shouldn't anyway, but the left hand's just doing chords, primary chords. Have we had primary chords yet in G? Have we had these yet? That's all they are. So it's pretty simple in the left hand. You do have that F sharp. Okay. They're introducing a metronome marking. They have a note at the bottom. So let's talk about the metronome just a bit. Use a metronome and all the play with me's. And I use a metronome when I practice. You use a metronome especially when doing scales and arpeggios, practicing them, because they keep me from getting too fast. I tend to want to speed up. And following a metronome takes practice. I have a terrible time. I get off on it. I get a little ahead a lot of times, and I've noticed when other people play with a metronome, they have the same problem, so I'm not too crazy after all. It works out. But the idea is, in most cases, you're going to turn on the sound with a metronome so you can hear the clicks. For instance, on this metronome, I have the sound turned off because I don't want to hear the clicks. I want you to hear the notes. But when you're practicing, you're going to turn on the sound so you can hear them, because you don't have time to watch the metronome and the music and the keyboard and everything at the same time. So you're listening for the clicks. So you're doing it that way. Well, they give you a metronome marking. And that's what that MM means, is Metzel's metronome is what it is. Just M stands for metronome. Okay, that's what I say. Quarter note equals 104-116. In other words, it's a range. They're telling you the quarter note somewhere between a 104 and a 116. You choose. Generally, you'd start with the slower, and as you get to know it better, you could speed it up. Those are suggestions. Tempo is a suggestion for the most part. Metronome markings are a suggestion. When we play it here, I go really slow. I put the metronome on 60, which is almost half of what they're saying it should be on. So if I put a metronome on 104, well, I got this little metronome here because it's easier to change the tempo. That's 104. That's the slow speed they're suggesting. So if I do it at this speed, well, that's pretty fast, I think. But they'll say, no, you can take it up to 116. That's here. Etc. It's up to you. The basic guideline to follow is you never go faster than you can control and play accurately. If playing it that fast is causing you to make mistakes, it's too fast. Maybe you can play it that fast eventually, but for now, it's too fast. So, I am suggesting to you, be flexible with a metronome. Use it, they come in handy, but be flexible with them. You got to take your speed overall. So, let's try this out. 4/4 time. I'll give us 4 counts and we'll play it very slowly. You're starting out in G position. 1, 2, ready, and go, and. 4. 4. 4. Rest. 4. 4. 4.